Hello, I'm Charlie Horton from Acumatica, and I'm here today with Mark Solberg from Landfall Solutions, a Acumatica reseller based out of Chicago, Illinois. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how are you?
Mark, tell me a little bit about Landfall Solutions and the market you guys serve.
Landfall Solutions has been around for 27 years now. We do a lot in the professional service market. We do a lot in financial markets, wealth management, private equity, as well as a lot of horizontal applications.
Excellent. Now, what made you eventually or initially pick up Acumatica as a new ERP to sell?
We had a lot of vertical focus in some areas and some IP, and it was on an older Dynamics SL technology, and they were not doing enough to bring the product up, specifically web services. We're just not going anywhere with it, and that was something that for our next generation applications we needed. So we started about 5 years ago, we started looking for another solution, looked at a number of different products, settled on Acumatica, and a big part of it was because of architecture and web services.
So you talk about web services. What is that benefit it brings to customers? Why is that so important in the kind of new technology today?
Well, one, it's a standard. So now we can pretty much go into any deal and know that, I mean, virtually all the applications we're working with, you can use a web service to communicate with. We do a lot where we're getting data from other systems, so it's just a much more modern way of automating that, and it's a really core thing to our integration that we've been, moving towards. So.
Very good. So at the summit this week, you've had a lot of big announcements, specifically the Acumatica 5.0 beta launching. What are you most excited for 5.0?
The mobile apps for sure. I mean, I think it's really interesting that now that we're working with Acumatica, I can really embrace the concept of an ERP. Previously, if we're doing GL, ARAP, that's accounting. But now with all the other things that we can do with Acumatica, we actually are involving more of the enterprise. We've got a franchise that we've taken live on the product. And they'd like to start to move out to their franchisees and start to involve more people. So the whole concept, the prospect of having the mobile apps is huge. There's so many other things about 5. I think a lot of the usability, and I'm really glad to see the continuation of the quality theme. 4.2 has been a solid release, and clearly you guys are committed to that. So that's just overall, it's a lot of excitement around that.
So you mentioned franchises. Why does Acumatica fit into that model?
When we got into this particular deal, the CFO originally had called us up and said, I want Great Plains. He knew he wanted that because he had worked with it previously. So I inquired as to what, of course, they're going to be doing with it. It was general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable. And his immediate needs were for that. But when I inquired about where are you heading in the future, is there an opportunity to involve all of the franchises? This is the main franchise office. Is there an opportunity to do that? They hadn't even really thought about that. And with GP, it never occurred to him to do that. They were looking at using various third-party applications. So by using the project module and by using CRM with the customer portal, we showed them in the long run how they could set up a project for each of the franchises and do a number of other things. We also have, back to our web services concept, they need to pull data out of their retail systems on a daily basis, process those transactions, turn those transactions into invoices going to each franchise. They auto collect the money by doing a draw against the franchise's accounts, which is part of their agreement. And then they're going to be able to provide that information and metrics and analysis via the project component out to the franchises. So I could go on probably way too long about it, but all of a sudden I went from Great Plains was going to be $5,000. Acumatica was coming in about $25,000. And at first, that's quite a gap. But when they looked at all they could do with it in the future, there was really no contest. So we're definitely going to be going after more franchises after this experience. But it was based on kind of our ability to take the data remotely, do the processing that they need, and then also get the data back out to the franchises to cut down on all of the, back and forth of emails. Because when I asked them, how are you doing a lot of communications of all this with the franchise, it was a lot of emailing. And when they found out that they could use Acumatica to correct all that, it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah. So if I'm a customer today looking to either upgrade my ERP or buy my first ERP, why should I choose Landfall Solutions as my reseller?
We've been around for 27 years. We won't take on anything that we can't implement. This last the franchise I just talked about, we had them live in somewhere between 60 and 90 days. We've got a quality team of people. We've got a long history of successes. With Acumatica, for the 4 years that we've already been into it, we've got a lot of really good, solid successes. Our focus is on understanding the business. I mean, it's a typical thing these days, but we really have a deep team of their ability to get in and understand the companies and work directly with people to really go beyond the typical accounting. Get strategic with them. And we've got a solid group of people for sure.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier you guys have some verticals that you focus and are really good in. Can you tell me a little bit more about those?
Sure. Verticals specifically, and this one in particular was the one that led us from the old Dynamics environment to Acumatica. We do a lot in financial market companies, so investment advisors, private equity, venture capital, wealth management, and we've got some customizations that we've done to Acumatica and some additional IP that we're building up that really address specifically the problems that those organizations have. We also do a lot with specialty service companies, professional service companies, and starting to get quite a bit going with e-commerce, with web services and integrations with Acumatica.
Can you tell me a little about those customizations you've done for the financial companies? Why, if I'm a financial company, are these beneficial to me?
A lot of it deals with the complexities of when you do billings for an investment advisor. A lot of them you bill by assets under management, and so there's some pretty significant complexities with that. Using the allocations in the project module, we've been able to build formulas that are able to handle that, provide a lot of the unique statistical analysis that they need. There's always a slight variation on the either portfolio management or the accounts, and so with the project module and some additional customizations that we've done with that, we can actually have roll-ups of how relationships can exist between, say, a trust and investments that are in that trust, and then there could be, in a partnership, there could be additional investments beneath that. So we've done some things to make the project module go a bit deeper than what it does. And then we've also done some things that these are under construction, integrations with tax accounting. We're building out trust reporting. So if you have to have trust reporting for state compliance reasons. And then there's some other we're looking at doing K1s for partnerships, and so there's kind of a backlog of things that we're getting to. The key is that we really needed the state of Acumatica to be where it's at right now and have the project module there. So really our years in working with the product now have gotten us to the point where we are ready to build that stuff out.
Great. So looking forward, what are you most excited for with Acumatica?
Well, the thing that just across the board, it's just such a good, healthy environment. The people, the company, everything that's happened in the last year with the way staffing has gone. It's always been good, but it's gotten that much better. It's a solid group of people. There's no nonsense. Everybody's heads down working. Seems like it's very good focus. The technology, the product in the last 4 years, I'm just amazed by what has happened. I mean, when you look back at where we came from, a major release, a minor release, a major release every year, and keep adding, and now out of necessity, there's a focus on quality. So we made it through those times, but the focus on quality now keeps us moving towards the new business. I think that the architecture that continues to evolve is enabling the things we're looking to do. The mobile computing, the new concepts of the customer portal. We're live on customer portal ourselves and a number of other Acumatica modules. And then a lot of the new usability things that have come out. So I could go on and on, but just overall, I'm incredibly excited about where we're at.
So if I'm a customer, deciding for my first cloud ERP, and I'm deciding between NetSuite, Intact, and Acumatica, why do I choose Acumatica?
To me, there's no contest. We looked at NetSuite and Intact. One of the big reasons that I like Acumatica as a company is integrity. There's no question about that. Dealing with you guys has just been phenomenal. But architecturally, the way that your web services are designed, the fact that every single screen is available via a web service, I don't get into a situation where, I can't do that or I can't do that. So that was one of the real big things that swayed us. From a development environment, it's just a solid platform. Now, for that to manifest itself to a customer, it depends on their perspective. I think if people are looking to grow into the future and know that they're on a platform that is going to survive and grow, you guys are the most modern thing out there. I mean, some of that other technology we're talking about is already 14 plus or maybe 14 plus years old, and there's a lot of things that you just can't do with it. So the platform to me is a really big thing.
Being an Acumatica partner for a little while now and being a gold certified partner and kind of, very involved in the community, what's your favorite part of our partner program?
I guess it's the overall involvement of, like, with your partner account managers and the active role that they play, and the active role they play in introducing partners to partners. I've been on the phone with I don't know how many partners talking about concepts. If somebody's got a question I'm willing to share, I know I can call other people up. And so we're all peers in the industry, and you guys are really enablers to that. It is as far as the character of I mentioned integrity, but the character of your partner channel is what it should be. It feels reciprocal. You guys will help us and we'll help you, and everybody's willing to work together. And so there's just this positive upward spiral. Like here at the summit, every partner that I've run into is so stoked, so it's the way that type of an arrangement should be. If we should be enabling each other to grow, not putting up barriers and roadblocks like we've had in a lot of other channels, and you're not selling against us, and we're really helping each other out.
So Mark, you've been in the Acumatica ecosystem for a while now. Do you have any good war stories about their selling against the competition?
Sure. Yeah, probably our first project deal, and this was when Project first came out. This was with a investment advisory out of Boston, and we were up against NetSuite and Dynamics SL. Now, knowing Dynamics SL very well, I knew we needed some pretty elaborate allocations, and I knew we could not do those allocations using the model in Solomon. So using Acumatica, you have the ability to put some pretty elaborate formulas into your allocations and even use attributes, and it's really pretty interesting. So we went to the demo, and they gave us a very formal script to follow, and we had put that together. We had even built up examples of their calculations, again, that were fairly complex, and they were working. Now, we didn't do the whole thing, but we did enough that they could show it. So we actually showed the formulas that we had come up with. It was effectively like an if statement in Excel that got quite deep, but nonetheless, it was something that very bright people at this company, they could look at that and they could see, yes, they understood. They said, yes, that's going to work. We knew Solomon couldn't do it because we know that product very well. And from what we were told is that NetSuite, they said, oh, that would be custom development. So basically, because we were able to meet all those requirements, and there was much more to it, but it was clear that we were the winner in that one. So that was a pretty fun one because that was, project had just come out. We worked very closely with Acumatica to make sure, and we were new to it. So I didn't want to take any chances of getting in there and thinking I could do it. That's why we invested quite a bit in the demo. So we had, a fair amount to lose. We had some hours into it, but we had to learn it anyway, right? So, but we ended up winning the deal, and that was like 3 years ago, and now I've been doing more since then.
So, if I'm a customer interested in learning more about Acumatica and Landfall, how can I get in contact with you?
Contact us at landfallsolutions.com. You could contact me at mark@landfallsolutions.com, or call us at 630-653-9396.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Yep, you're welcome.